Building a successful social media campaign is about making enough of a splash to reach a wide range of people and to get big numbers on your follower and subscriber counts. But it's not just about breadth, it's about depth. That is to say that it's not just about how many people you can reach, but also how precisely targeted those people are. Welcome back to Elevate Your Success, your ultimate guide to unlock the secrets of entrepreneurial mastery and personal empowerment. If you haven't done it yet, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. If you set out to create something for everyone, then you'll simultaneously create something for no one. On the other hand, if you know who your perfect customer is, then you can make sure that you invest all your time, effort, and budget into reaching those people, and the result will be far more profitable and far more rewarding. A lot of companies are very short-sighted in this regard, in that they want to create something that'll appeal to the largest possible audience. This is why we see websites and brands in the fitness niche so often, in the dating niche, or in the money niche. And this is why we see so much content that is safe and not all that opinionated. It isn't too highbrow so as not to put off people who don't want to read reams of text, and it's not too controversial so as not to turn away people who are easily offended. The content is short, to the point, and on topics that everyone knows and understands. On the face of it, that sounds like a good plan, but in reality, it means you have no USP. It's best if you think of your social media accounts as products. Like any product, it needs to offer value. Like any product, it needs a USP. And like any product, it needs an ideal customer. If your website is called burnfat.com, then it's going to be competing with every single other fitness site on the net, pretty much. Meanwhile, it gives your visitors no real reason to read it. It doesn't offer anything over the other content they've seen so often. But the worst offender of all, it's not exciting and it doesn't evoke emotion. And this is super important because your content needs to be exciting to be successful. That's because it's emotion that drives action, not logic. This is why clickbait works so well, because it's so controversial or mysterious or absurd. Even people who know and hate clickbait will often click it just to see how much they hate it. If you're safe and vanilla, then you give people no reason to promote your content. What's more is that sharing your content on Facebook, Instagram, or X works far better if your content is for a specific person. For starters, knowing your precise target audience will give you places to market and a person to aim for, and it will allow you to avoid lots of competition. If you create a site aimed at fishers, then you have clear and obvious ways to market that site on social media, and you'll be going up against a much smaller amount of competition. If you go even more niche, then the effect is even stronger. Make a website about the sport curling and set up a Facebook page to that end. And you're going to be one of the very few sites offering information on that subject. Now, when someone wants to get information about their favorite sport, they'll have limited options other than to read what you're putting out. And those visitors will become much more engaged as a result. The psychology of sharing is pretty much reliant on targeting. Why? Because ultimately, sharing is a social act. Social media is social, even though this is something a lot of brands forget. And pretty much everything we do on those platforms is social as well. When you share something on Facebook, you're sharing something because you either want to communicate with the person you're talking to, or because you want to say something about yourself. This is why questionnaire content is so successful. People are narcissists, and when they learn that they are Joey from Friends, they want to share that to communicate it with their audience. And in just the same way, when someone reads an opinionated piece about why science should define policy and not religion, they'll share that because it's something they believe and they want people to know what they believe. Or they'll share it because they don't believe in it and it's made them angry and they want to post a comment saying why it's wrong. Either way, this is much more specific and opinionated piece has a much higher chance of being shared. Alternatively, we might share something with a friend because it makes us think of them and we want to share something we think they might appreciate. For instance, if we see a post about working from home and how it shows you're a strong-minded person, then we might share it with the friend we know who works from home and say, you might like this. But that only works because the content is for someone and because it says something. Now, if the post was 10 productivity tips, who would you share that with? It's so vague and dull that it doesn't offer value to anyone in particular. It's kind of for everyone, meaning it's also kind of for no one. And don't even get me started on the value of targeting for selling. If the ultimate goal of your social media campaign is to make money, which is the case for a great many people, then you should absolutely ensure that your channel is highly targeted. For instance, if you own a business that sells wedding dresses, then you can spend a whole lot of money marketing to everyone and see very little ROI. Only a very small section of the population is looking for a wedding dress right now. But if you target only engaged women in your area, then suddenly you're focusing all of your efforts and all of your marketing budget on just the kind of person who is likely to buy from you. So with that in mind, how do you go about targeting your social media campaign? Here are some crucial pointers to get you started. A buyer persona is a concept used in business that describes who the ideal customer for a product is, which can include your social media campaign as a whole. This is the person who, on paper, is most likely to buy from you, most likely to like and share your posts, and most likely to become highly engaged with what you're doing. A buyer person is often written like a fictional biography, as though you were creating a fictional character for a movie script. That means that you're going to take into account their age, their sex, and their gender. But you'll also go one step further than this by asking yourself what their hobbies and interests might be, where they are likely to spend their time, what job they are likely to have. Now, picture this person as a real person. You might even be able to base it on someone you know. Give them a name. Let's call him Joe. And from now on, every single social media post you make, ask yourself this question. Would Joe like this? If you think it would be right up their street and they'd be likely to hit like and share, then it passes. Otherwise, it's back to the drawing board. Of course, this is guesswork to a certain extent though, so make sure that you're also looking at the stats and consider surveying your audience as well. If you have any advertising budget for your social campaign, then it's well worth driving a little of this into PPC. PPC is pay per click, which is a form of marketing where, you guessed it, you pay each time someone clicks on one of your adverts. There are two big PPC networks, which include Google's AdWords and Facebook ads. AdWords shows ads on Google searches, which allows you to target by knowing what sort of things someone who's looking for your brand would be likely to search for. But what we're most interested in is Facebook ads. Facebook ads allow you to target your audience based on their hobbies and interests, on their age, on their sex, and their location. In short, any information that a user gives to Facebook can now be used to reach them and to market to them directly. So for our wedding dress shop, we could pay only for adverts to appear on the walls of women who are engaged. Every click would be more likely to lead to a sale. This is immensely effective, and especially if you use CPA, which is cost per action. Facebook allows you to set up your ads so that you only pay if someone actually likes your Facebook page. That makes a massive difference too, because now you're only paying when you genuinely increase your following with a highly targeted follower. A route to market is any platform that allows you to communicate specifically with your buyer persona. In the case of social media, that often means online communities. These can include Facebook pages, Google Plus communities, or even subreddits. Either way, these are places where people with a specific interest will hang out and where you'll be able to converse with them and likely post your content for free. Now that the audience is seeing the content you created, and every member should be targeted as a matter of fact, you can also do this outside of social media, for instance. Why not speak to a local club in your area? Why not advertise in a magazine? As long as the niche is the same, that audience is going to be largely targeted. Branding is absolutely fundamental to any successful social media campaign, and it's a subject that we return to numerous times over the course of these reports. It's also very relevant here, and the objective in this case is to create a brand that is clearly specifically tailored to your target audience. In other words, when you come up with your logo and your tagline, which is a powerful tool, you should think carefully about who you are aiming at and what you do, and then make sure that you convey all that. The ideal scenario is that someone sees some of your content or one of your social media posts and finds it interesting. Then they look at your brand and they know instantly what kind of content they can expect and whether or not it's for them. For the right kind of person, your brand should look and feel as though it was created entirely for them, because it pretty much was. And finally, do nothing to compromise your highly targeted list. Avoid the temptation to use strategies that build your list much bigger in an untargeted way. For instance, make sure that you avoid buying subscribers. This will only ever mean that you get a completely untargeted list that never agreed to be messaged by you. Likewise, avoid offering freebies and goodies to try and get people to subscribe or follow. Why? Because this will attract people who like to get free stuff, which isn't really the targeted audience that we want as a business. Never strong arm, trick, or push people into subscribing or following you. Only have people that genuinely want to be on your list and that can't wait to hear what you have to say next. Are you ready to elevate your success? Like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Let's make your entrepreneurial dreams a reality.